Right now, somewhere in your home, there is a photograph. Maybe it is framed on a wall. Maybe it is saved on your phone. Maybe it is tucked inside a drawer where you almost never look, but you cannot bring yourself to throw it away. You keep it because it holds something real. Because looking at it makes that thing feel less gone. You have been doing this your entire life. And so did the humans who came before you. Except they did not have phones. They did not have paper. They had rock walls, animal fat, crushed ochre, and their own hands pressed flat against stone. And what they made in those cold, silent caves has outlasted every empire, every language, every god that has risen and fallen in the thousands of years since. The question is not how they did it. The question is why. And the real answer is far stranger and far more personal than anything you were taught in school. Go back 30,000 years. Your ancestor is standing deep inside a cave in what will one day be called southern France. There is no light except the flame in their hand. The walls around them are damp. The ceiling is low. The world outside is brutal beyond anything you can easily imagine. There are predators, there is hunger, there is cold that kill. And yet this person, this human being with a brain almost identical to yours, has walked deep into the earth, away from the fire and the group and the safety of the entrance, to press their hand against a wall and blow pigment around it. Why? Why do that? Why risk the dark? Why spend the time? The oldest answer is the one you have probably heard. Art as ritual. Art as magic. The archaeologist David Lewis Williams spent decades studying the cave paintings of southern Africa and Europe, and he proposed something that changed how researchers thought about all of it. He argued that these images were not decorations. They were not records. They were thresholds. It was a membrane. And the animals they drew were not being created. They were being pulled through from the other side. Let that sit for a moment. These were not artists making art. These were people reaching into another world through the only portal they believed existed. The wall was not a canvas. It was a door. But there is another explanation. And to understand it, you have to think about what your brain does every single time something matters to you. When something is important, your brain marks it, not metaphorically, literally, neurologically. The hippocampus encodes it. The amygdala flags it. Your body stores the feeling of it in a way that ordinary moments never get stored. And then, almost immediately, your brain begins to do something else. It begins to lose it. Memory degrades. The face blurs. The sound fades. The moment that felt permanent starts to feel less certain. And this terrifies you. It has always terrified you. The cognitive scientist Lambros Maliforis has written extensively about what he calls material engagement theory, the idea that the human mind does not just live inside the skull. It extends outward into objects, into marks, into things made by hands. When you make something, you are not just expressing a thought, you are completing it. You are finishing the thought outside your own head, where it can exist independently of your memory, independently of your death. Think about what that meant 30,000 years ago. You have no writing, you have no recording, you have no way to make anything last. The people you love will die, and you will die, and nothing you have ever said or seen or felt will survive you in any form that anyone can find. That is not a philosophical problem for you. It is a daily reality. It is the texture of your life. And then one day, someone discovers that if you grind red ochre into powder and mix it with fat and blow it through a hollow bone onto the surface of a wall, the image stays. It is still there the next day. It is still there after the rains. It is still there after you are gone. That discovery was not just artistic. It was existential. It was the first time a human being ever cheated death and knew it. The animals they drew were not chosen randomly. Horses, aurochs, bison, mammoths, the great creatures that dominated their world, the ones that fed them and threatened them and filled their dreams. The researcher Ian McGilchrist has argued that the right hemisphere of the brain, the hemisphere more attuned to living things, has always been drawn toward animals in a way it is not drawn toward objects or abstractions. The animals on those cave walls are not symbols. They are presences. They are specific. They are alive in a way that abstract marks never could be.
And alongside the animals, always, the hands. Hundreds of them, pressed flat, outlined in red and black and yellow. Hands that reach out across 30,000 years and say something so simple it barely needs words. I was here. Human beings have felt compelled to leave a mark, to carve their names into stone, to write on bathroom walls, to sign their names on paintings, to scratch initials into tree bark, to post photographs online. The medium changes. The impulse never does. The psychologist Sheldon Solomon spent years studying what he called terror management theory, the idea that virtually all of human culture, all art, all religion, all achievement, is in some way a response to the awareness of death. We know we are going to die, so we build things, we make things, we leave things behind. We create what Solomon and his colleagues called symbolic immortality, the sense that some part of us will continue after we are gone. The cave painter was not thinking in those terms. They did not have that language, but the impulse was identical. Press the hand, blow the pigment, leave the mark, survive. There is something else in those caves that almost never gets talked about: the location. These paintings are not near the entrances, where the light reaches and the air is warm. They are deep inside. Some of them are in chambers so remote, so difficult to reach, that researchers who have crawled through to find them have described the experience as genuinely frightening. Narrow passages, complete darkness, the sense of the rock pressing in on all sides. Why go that deep? If you just wanted to make a mark, the entrance would do. If you just wanted to practice, the exterior of the cliff would do. Why go into the earth? David Lewis Williams believed the darkness was the point, that in the absolute dark, cut off from the ordinary world, the human mind begins to generate its own images, phosphenes, geometric patterns, figures that seem to emerge from the rock itself. The altered state was not accidental. It was the destination. And the images painted on those walls were attempts to capture what the mind produced when the ordinary world fell away. When something matters so much that you cannot hold it inside you, you go somewhere private. You go somewhere quiet. You go somewhere that feels separate from the ordinary noise of daily life. And there, in that private place, you try to make the feeling real outside yourself. You write in a journal. You take a photograph. You tell someone. You make something. The cave was private. The cave was quiet. The cave was separate from the world. And deep inside it, your ancestor made something that has lasted 30,000 years. Made something that you can still look at today and feel, across all that distance, the presence of someone who needed exactly what you need. To be seen. To matter. To leave something behind that says, simply and permanently, that they were here. That they felt things, that they reached out. You still do it, every single day. The medium is different, the impulse is identical. That photograph you keep, the one in the frame, the one on your phone, the one in the drawer you almost never open but cannot throw away. You keep it for the same reason your ancestor pressed their hand against a cold cave wall 30,000 years ago and blew red pigment around it in the dark. Because some things are too important to let disappear, and you have always known it.